Now, this is the 2021 candidate for governor of Virginia. My name is Merle Rutledge. This morning is not easy for a lot of people that's going to be dealing with the court system or dealing with the fact of protecting their families from monsters, pedophiles, and those who traffic their children for financial gain and for perverted pleasure. I have always stood on the side of victims and against these monsters, these animals and predators, and I have acted with no remorse, no mercy, no care at all for any kind of sympathy for these animals. But however, these animals are not alone in their mission to destroy families and to destroy our children in any kind of way that they can for their sick pleasure. Far too often during the court process, family after family have experienced judges that are not elected but are appointed by those that they give campaign donations to, or whether the judges have been very beneficial and acted in a very partial manner towards those who further corruption, to those who are the monsters and the predators. And a lot of time frames, they are the ones who are creating and enforcing the laws in a particular locality. See, the dark money is out there from all angles. And us being humans, we are not immune for the temptations that come with it. But there's a such thing as having a core and integrity and strong values to make sure that you don't sell out our children and you don't sell out their future. The problem is, too many people feel like they are fighting sex trafficking, but they also promoting it by those who they stand with and don't realize that they too are a part of the problem instead of being part of the solution which they claim. These tokens that are out there must understand that there won't be no mercy or remorse or at all for you in hell. Plain and simple. No matter how well you try to dress up your response. I am sick and tired of the families that give me calls all across Virginia talking about the justice system and what it's doing to their children, especially those children who have been either raped, molested, assaulted, or trafficked, and it appears that the system could care less about those who perpetuate the crime. The facilitators is from all directions. If you ignore the allegations and say passing the buck, you are responsible also for what happens to that child. If you are also aware of the allegations and you tell the child to stay silent or to move on, that child still hurts and they live with the pain not just of being a victim to a monster, but they live with the pain of knowing that those who said that they will protect them are the ones making sure they become victims again. There's no way to take away that type of memory from our children. But it is a chance to go ahead and make things right by making sure the new leadership that comes to Virginia is locked and loaded and engaged, and making sure that they put an end to sex trafficking and holding people responsible that either assisted, aided, or abetted these monsters also. It's the time for a regime change when it comes down to how we deal with these animals and cows. The fact of the matter is, Brock Turner's sentence of 6 months is a regular thing here in Virginia for those who commit the most atrocious acts to our children. And you can't tell me that one day where you're sentencing somebody for the same very act for 24 years, you're sentencing somebody else to a year of probation. This has happened here in Virginia. We have also seen people fight the system over and over again, trying to go to CPS, trying to go to law enforcement, trying to go to their Commonwealth attorney, trying to go to anybody and everybody to get help because they are saying that their kids is being attacked by these monsters and nobody's standing in their way. I can tell you right now, as my promise as your next governor of Virginia, there will be somebody standing in their way. Because that's going to be a promise made and a promise kept for Virginia families. No matter who you are, what your background, no matter how much money you make, you deserve to be protected too. This is a problem that we are in this together, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that these judges, these Commonwealth attorneys, these law enforcement officers that are engaged in the practice of sex trafficking is held to the highest accountability and their standards and the extent of the law. That's exactly what needs to start happening today. Too bad that we have too many politicians that's scared to confront a system that is basically trampling on the rights and securities of American families to protect their children. Anybody can stand up and say, I'm about saving the children. Anybody can stand up and say, I'm about saving our children, however you want to switch up the roles. The thing is, most of those who are standing up, talking about it, is making money off the very monsters that they are talking about being against. But people will make sure that they are comfortable while the victim has to live in the uncomfortable fact that America and Virginia leaders have failed them. I also read an alarming statistic that a lot of foster children are the ones being found and have been put into human trafficking rings all across this country. And they come from the foster children program in large alarming numbers, as if a child goes missing, nobody's looking for them because they too busy saying that's one less problem instead of making sure America has one more solution. I'm sick and tired of this, people. I'm not a politician. I told y'all that, so I speak on it whenever I feel the need to speak on it. But it's a such thing where you have to do what you have to do to stand up for right and fight against wrong. And I've been doing that for far too long. And it's about time there is change. That's exactly why I'm running to be governor of Virginia, because I'm sick of the way we've been doing business. Because our children is not a business. Our children is our future. We cannot separate the two. These are our bloodlines that dependent on us. And us as leaders, us as parents, we need to put our pride to the side. We need to start committing ourselves to fighting a system that has long been winning a war. And that war has cost us child after child, and we've been silent for far too long. It's time for us to step up and be there and make sure that those who commit these atrocities or allow it to happen are confronted with exactly what they need, and that is called a jail cell, so you can see how it feels to be a victim. Maybe understand exactly what our children is going through. We are locking up mothers and good fathers who are trying to protect their kids from animals, while the system keeps sending our kids back to the very monsters that they've been trying to get away from, and they have lost hope. They have lost hope because too many judges, too many Commonwealth attorneys, too many people in the good old boy system have spent more time protecting themselves and not our children. That's been the problem, and that's something that got to be fixed, and I'm exactly the man for that job. I don't have no mercy for these animals and these monsters. I don't care what you look like, what you wear, or what you say your title is. Your title, what you wear, and what you look like is not an excuse or justification that I'm willing to accept. We must start electing our judges so the people can hold these animals accountable that practice and engage in protecting pedophiles, monsters, and those who prey on our community at no consequence. They have basically furthered the abuse, not stopped it. That's exactly what the law was designed for, and people have forgot exactly what it means to be a judge, what it means to be a Commonwealth attorney, what it means to stand for justice. Too many people are standing up for their political party but forgot our children in the process. That's why we saying save our children. Any time frame I hear about monsters or sexual assaults or abuse of our children, I'm engaged from day one. I'm taking notes. I'm making sure I document what I need to document and making sure I present facts so when I speak about it, I know I have the monster cornered. The thing is, who is going to protect the monster after it's cornered? That's what we need to start paying attention to. Because too many are walking the streets where they should be in prison, paying their debt to society. I'm coughing right now because I don't care. I don't care nothing about these monsters. I just care about our children and their future and what America is presenting to them right now. They are presenting the worst of the worst out there for our children to deal with. We as adults have to step up and start saying to ourselves, we will not support, we will not sponsor, we will not be okay with anybody who decides to work with, fundraise, or protect these animals in any kind of way. There has to be a cutoff point of zero tolerance, and it starts with us, the parents, us, the adults. Because any time frame you're willing to let one slide because of political party, you're willing to go ahead and let 100 children die. And they don't die just by getting shot or getting stabbed. They die in their heart and in their soul. And they live on their life dealing with the fact that I am a victim and nobody's protecting me. Merle Rutledge is here to be that protection. Merle Rutledge will give his life for his children. Merle Rutledge will stand and defend against anybody who decides to try to be a predator to our children. There is no way I will give up this fight of our children to allow these monsters to take over. Hell will not be earth, never today and never in Virginia. And that's exactly what they're trying to get done by having the same politicians, the same leaders who caused the problem in the first place. America and Virginia deserves better, and they need to know that we are looking out for them. So from now on, one of my major policies is going to be, if a mother or father is taking their children out of state to get away from a monster that they found out, we will not have it decided by one judge. We will have it decided by a panel of 5 judges from all across the state. And we will not issue any arrest warrant until a hearing has been done to determine whether there is merit in the allegations. We will not have one judge deciding the future of thousands and thousands of children that they don't even give a damn about. That's the problem, people. We have put too much faith, and we only find out how far that faith has gone once we find out we are faced in the situation that we hoped we wasn't in the first place. That's exactly the problem. People are finding out once they're in the system instead of acting before they ever get to it. I have mothers and fathers right now either in jail or crying to have their children home so they know that they are safe and away from the predators who these judges have gave them to. All this personal interest and dark money and stuff, forget that. I plan on making sure there's an investigation on judges and Commonwealth attorneys, because there will be no more absolute immunity in Virginia. Everybody will know that you will be held accountable to the law. Nobody's above the law, and I'm going to make sure Virginia knows exactly we can't hold you accountable. The problem is they made the law to the point where they can't be held accountable. And we need to call these politicians out for exactly the evil that they do. That's why they are walking around thinking that they're above the law, because while people wasn't paying attention, they was making the law to make sure they was protected from conduct like this. Now you're seeing it now. They are planning for the future of making sure our children are left behind, left to these monsters and pedophiles. Now in California, they trying their nice little law of 10 years apart to say if you're within 10 years, then the penalty that you would have suffered from before is no longer going to be there. That is encouraging. This is why I call the building blocks of pedophiles and their program. And they are doing it to our elected officials. Too bad too many people are still donating to these same officials, and they see the red flags all over the place. No longer will this happen in Virginia. We will overhaul CPS to make sure that we are holding social workers accountable and making sure we get rid of the bad ones and put in people that is looking to really help our children and fight for our children, and to make sure that they will not bend, they will not break their back, and they will not take money underneath the table to make sure a kid becomes a profitable sex machine instead of a child that's making a living, earning, having their education, getting everything that America has promised them, instead of being on the victim side to these monsters. There's no other way I can say this clearly. We will have to overhaul the system. We will have to make sure mothers and fathers have immunity when they are leaving the household in which crime is continuing to run rampant, and they are continuing to have these monsters around their children which attack and prey on them. We must cut that off and let them know if you need to leave out of the state, you will be protected, not locked up. I'm sorry, we will no longer have a situation where our parents that love their children and are just looking for justice, we will make sure that the financial hardship is taken away. They should not be paying to have their children to be safe. What sense does that make? You're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars just to keep your kids safe from monsters. We should be giving a refund back to them, because they are doing the job that we have failed as Virginia leaders to do. And a lot of people ain't cut out for it. A lot of people don't have the heart for it. They don't want this type of problem. Well, Merle Rutledge is saying it loud and clearly, I want that type of problem, because I want to make sure it's fixed, and whatever out there that's causing it to continue to be stomped out, just like I want Antifa stomped out. I ain't separating the two. A criminal is a criminal organization is a criminal organization, and you all need to be locked up, because I don't give a damn about how you feel. I'm so pissed off this morning hearing about parent after parent. These are the patriots being locked up for giving their children safe haven. That is beyond deplorable, to know you would issue an arrest warrant and ignore the evidence, ignore the child who's saying they are being molested, and put them right back in the household where all the criminal acts took place. There's no other way to say how much you don't give a damn about our children when you do some crap like this, and it needs to be some oversight. So stop talking about getting rid of qualified immunity for our police. It's time to get rid of absolute immunity to these public officials that are just as bad as the monsters that they are protecting. You'll be shocked at how many of these public officials are participating in the very acts which they are protecting other pedophiles with. Virginia, its counties and localities should never be safe havens for pedophiles and monsters to ever be protected. I call on law enforcement to tell your officers. I call on law enforcement to continue to call out your Commonwealth attorneys and your judges to tell them this area where we have jurisdiction of will not be a safe haven for pedophiles. A lot of these pedophiles go to Virginia in small areas where people don't know them that well and continue their abuse. And a lot of time frames they are bringing these children with them here in Virginia because Virginia had made it comfortable and relaxed for them. I don't want Virginia to be relaxed for them. Virginia will not become California, and Merle Rutledge is making sure that happens. One way or the other, I don't care how many toes I got to step on or who I got to cross. I've been doing it from the beginning of the time, and I still don't give a damn about it now. You will have a fighting governor of Virginia in Merle Rutledge. And Merle Rutledge will be the leadership that Virginia needs. We are protecting our families over monsters, and that's it. Zero tolerance. So I want every single parent to tell me exactly what you went through. Take notes. Take notes of exactly what you're going through. We are going to fix this problem, and I'm going to need all of y'all on board. I'm going to need all you organizations talking about you fight these predators. I need you at the front lines fighting right now for Virginia because these lawmakers don't give a damn. When Ted Nugent, I'll tell you that one, comes to Virginia, giving his history, and y'all fundraising with him, that lets you know y'all part of the problem who's giving money to that shit. I'm not going to be light on my language when it comes down to our children because I care about them too much. So to Virginia, to everybody across America, I want you to remember Merle Rutledge. I want you pedophiles and you monsters and animals to remember Merle Rutledge because you know my reputation. And my reputation been locking you sons of bitches up and making sure you're exposed and held accountable regardless of what a judge decided to say about you. Because I don't care anything about y'all. None whatsoever. Once I get the opportunity to sign that bill to give y'all the death penalty, I'm probably going to be running to the Senate floor or the House floor to sign it without a press conference because I want it to be in law as soon as possible so everybody in Virginia, every family in Virginia knows Merle Rutledge means business. And like I said, I will be participating in your execution because I'm sick of these stories come across my desk. We should be talking about how we served out justice, not talking about how we let you monsters off or haven't held you accountable to the highest extent of the law. We will protect our children. We will make sure good mothers and good fathers have their children and not used because their ex or whatever decide to make their life a living hell and use the kids to do it. We're stopping that bullshit too. So I'm not worried about how I talk because people need to know there's a fighter who's going to do the damn job. And that's exactly what we need done. So if there's a law, if there's a judge, if there's a Commonwealth attorney, you let me know. You put in the notes, you let me know what exactly happened. I will personally ask the questions directly to them, and if you stay silent, if y'all stay silent, Commonwealth attorney, prosecutors, or those who allowed these monsters to continue, imagine I'm going to be your next governor of Virginia, and imagine how silent I plan to be. because I haven't been silent before. I haven't been silent now, and I plan on making sure you sons of bitches know you will be unemployed in Virginia and hopefully in the same jail cell with the monsters so y'all two can work it out. We are getting to business. I will use federal resources, state police, anywhere where there is a child being treated as a victim and is being attacked or abused. We will make it Virginia's priority number one. We will not be developing criminals. We will be developing heroes and those who will contribute and make sure society becomes great again. And that called eliminating some of these monsters that has been destroying everything about Virginia, because our children is our future. How dare we sit silent and allow our children to become victims? I'd rather a gun owner who's a father or a mother find out their child was molested and they went over there and killed that bastard. I would give our pardon, because I know exactly, me being the father, I know exactly what my wife would do. Let you come around my kids and let me find that out. I may not be governed, but the fact of the matter, it ain't a laughing matter. The law should work. People should not have lost faith in our legal system to this point. And people need to be held accountable. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. That's a promise. That's a guarantee. That's a guarantee. So sometimes when you wonder why I'm talking about these stupid politicians and these elected officials, this is why. Because once I find out you doing mess like this, there's no way in hell I'm going to be sponsoring, promoting, or working with you. I don't care if you Republican, Democrat, or Independent. I don't give a damn. We have seen pedophiles and more try to use our parties to run. Have you thought about that one? There needs to be a zero tolerance policy from both parties, whatever your party, that pedophiles and molesters and those who think like them will not use your party as a flag for their mischief and their bullshit. Period. So I'm calling on even political parties. Y'all need to hold whoever accountable and responsible, and they are making it clear that we are doing fundraisers with pedophiles or we are promoting monsters. We need to put into it immediately. And this is Merle Rutledge, and God bless America, and that's my promise made, and it's going to be a promise kept. Period. It's time for us to take this country back, and trust me, I'm doing it a different type of way. We are going to be the predators. We are not in Virginia going to be the prey. And God bless America.